And welcome back to another session with Vidus on drawing on your phone using your finger. So this is a lovely Sunday this morning here, and I've been relaxing for about an hour now and thinking of ways to show you how to make some good drawings. And then I happened to find one that came on the TV and I paused it, and this was the actual photo here. You can see here. So we're going to try and do that, but I want to have a new approach to this, do something slightly different, not try and replicate the whole thing. This is the beauty of digital, is that there are a lot of imagery around you that can interest you, and that sort of evokes a sensation or emotion within you, and that's the beauty of digital, is that you can take it on your phone. Doesn't have to be this, draw a painting that you like, and then you can just simply use the app to do a nice drawing over it. You don't have to have any specific drawing experience. Like in the traditional materials, we don't have those tools, but in digital we can exploit these tools and make the drawing experience a lot more fun. Just like the digital applications, many of them are immersed with tools to avoid the manual way of drawing, which many choose to do with digital. But if you are familiar with my method of drawing, I do keep it traditional, in the sense that I don't delve into any tools. I don't think people want to delve into tools, maybe for the young population, but for like grown-ups like us, we simply want to draw without any of the technical requirements. So this is what we're going to do, and this is how I've been doing lately with finger drawing. Picking one brush, and I'm deciding which brush to pick for this drawing, and we could try a few and see what you think. Set the setting, go to color, and then see what you think. Right, and you have to understand, I'm looking at this brush not from the point of view of doing miniature areas with a specific brush, or doing some pattern design or anything. We're trying to replicate this drawing, and not many apps will show you this way, the method of drawing. So let's go back and find a brush. Charcoal. I always turn to charcoal whenever I can. I think this sort of works with me. So I'm going to use charcoal, and we're going to make some changes. Like I said, we're going to make some changes to this story. I can see the image. There's some problems associated. The light on this person's feet has sort of made that toe somewhat thinner, and we want to compensate for that. Otherwise, it looks like some kind of a person who's got a distorted toe of some kind, isn't it? Even though you can get away with it. And then notice here, it's like somehow they got like glued together. We want to avoid that. And then in order to reduce the complexity, I'm going to take away this area here and just darken it, yeah, without losing any sort of realism as such, okay? And then I'm going to try and also remove this hand here, which we don't want, okay? So let's go ahead, and you can see It's a lovely contrasting image, dark areas here, and then a light around this. So this image evokes a lot of emotion. If you look at it, you can examine some of the emotives, feelings that comes out of it. Like this person relaxing is in the light. Look at the background here in the light. That's why this image somehow sort of struck some resemblance with me. This person is in the light area, which is enjoying the sun, and there's no golden color except for this drink here. So we know there's a sun hitting that associated with it, and that person is enjoying its time in that serene environment with the sea and this table, small table with the drink. Okay, so let's get down to it and pick out the contrast. So I'm gonna charcoal, as I've said. I'm going to, yeah, so I'm going to use a lighter brush actually. I don't want to use too light. Yeah, let's use that. And then just reduce this brush size a little bit. Okay, that'll do. So I'm just going to show you the various patches. Remember, the method of drawing is using passes. I call them drawing passes. And drawing pass essentially means I'm going to go towards first step, then that will take me to step 2. Remember, if you're not experienced, you can't go from 0 to B, A to 0, A to B, B being the end point of the final drawing. In fact, the only way you're going to go from A to B is through hyperrealism. This is what I'm formulating in a blog post on drawing. Hyperrealism means there is none of that artistry required to go from A to B, which means you go pixel by pixel and you will know that the level of experience required for art as such is not that great. That is just picking out, for example, when people do hyperrealism, they go, wow, it's really not that difficult at all. They just spend in a huge canvas going through this region, selecting the colors, and just going bit by bit all the way along. We don't do that. I mean, I would never really, unless if I just wanted to do one really rapidly. I wouldn't typically do it, even though there people are wowed by it. I do photorealism, and photorealism I do is using the artistry based on your artistic skills to achieve the final drawing. And these require the passes. If you ever sit down and watch a painter paint, you will see that they build up layer after layer of, let's say, oil painting until they get to the final stage. They would not get to that final point in their drawing if they don't go through these steps. And these are the steps that makes that journey all that meaningful, the painting and drawing so much more meaningful. And I'm going to write a blog post on that and I'll post it. But please do leave some comments if you have any thoughts on that. So okay, so we're going to pick out the tones. I can see tones going on, so I'm just going to go here and then here. There's a tones here, and then a little bit tones. Okay, tones here. Can you see that? I'm picking out the dark tones because maybe you may not be familiar. Some of you might say, "What is he doing that for?" Because I'm just showing you what tones actually mean to some people. These are tones are these shadows areas that I see. Look at this dark tone here. Oops, try dark tone, right? dark tone. There's a dark tone here, and then you can see the distinction between the toes and that, and then we can do that and then go closer, and this is where we can make our toes a little bit bigger. Okay, so when we come to do it, we'll have that, and then there's that table we said. Okay, and beneath that will be blacks. Remember I said I'm not going to do that, so go, and then we're going to remove this finger we don't think is needed. This is my, you could say this is my composition to what I'm going to do with the art. So they have it as sort of a relative idea of what's going to be drawn. On this. So this is the basis of the tones and where the variations of tones are. So we can use that as a foundation for our first pass. And what is our first pass? Well, like I've said, basically clear that out, clear the previous color palette, pick a color tone here, and notice the box on the bottom right, on the bottom right, and you'll see it's turned a blue tone, and then we just simply use a brush size. Let's take it to 6-7%, a bit more, because we're going through a quick pass of the whole, laying down the foundation as you would with a painting. I can make it even bigger. Okay, and then we can see that tone at the midway point, and just simply follow that tone direction. See that? These tones appearing, and then on and off, change that color because it gets darker. Remember, it's not the same tone that you would see. Then there's another tone I can see, this here, and then the same here. And then notice I'm switching, I'm using my fingers, and I'm switching to the color picker on and off quite frequently, because I don't want to do the flat tone, the same flat tones for the entire image, because that adds straight away, it adds a bit of dimension to the whole drawing. See, so I came here, you see how far I came. I came to this point, and then now you know there's another lovely blue tone there, and it's lighter, which means the sun is probably on the right side. Okay, I'm going through the color picker, using the midpoint section to see what tones exist, and then finish that area. You'd be surprised with how so drawing this way is really pushes you in the right direction towards appreciation of tones and therefore improvements in your drawing. Don't listen to people who says you got to draw freehand. You know, it just doesn't make sense because they haven't got the experience unless they're highly experienced and then they can show you that they can draw with relative ease. It's because they've picked up these skills, right? But if they're telling you without really possessing any skills, don't don't pay attention. Listen to someone who can show you those what's important and what isn't. So drawing, painting, anything, if you get a stick, chalk, anything, and it develops your skills, motor functions, and it develops your acute understanding and awareness of tones and values in everyday life. And believe me, my drawing has gone leaps and bounds without much practice because I use these tools and I developed these tools. Okay, so now we can go here and just fill it in. It's just the right size for the toe, isn't it? It's turned out to be quite nicely done. So again, picking those tones and then changing my color picker. Okay. And then going rapidly. Don't worry about getting it exactly right, because that's not the nature of drawing. You draw and you get better. Now I know why some people do not appreciate the method of drawing, because I remember when at school I was working on a drawing, I was taking my time, and there was a chuckle from one of the students who was looking at my drawing and saying, "Oh look, he's just done," he's smiling or laughing, I don't know. He's just done the top of the roof of the house, you know. But they don't understand the process of drawing. And I was obviously a very good artist anyway, compared to other students, but they don't understand. It sort of puts you off, you know. Remember, I'm not going to draw you this. It can throw people off. That's the problem. And what people say, you base your learning, or you could learn something when you get a pat on the back, or it could discourage you if you don't have that pat on the back, and if you get negative feelings from other people. I wasn't like that, actually. I looked at things differently from people. And if you get discouraged easily by what others say, then you're not really living your life, are you? You're living your life through the eyes of others, which is a bit sad, isn't it? I'm just going through it quickly, not interested in the details of it, right? Just laying down the colors so it'll take me to the next step of the drawing. Look at that, so rapidly you can go through it. The phone, that's the beauty of the phone, is incredible. It's like the technology we have. You shouldn't just be using social. This is a social drawing. I mean, this is far more relaxing. When I'm on Facebook, I'm only there for momentarily, because people like to talk about things, but talk about what exactly I like doing things, because it helps my mind be at peace, right? And I'm sure it will help others. And that's the reason why a lot of traditional artists still enjoy the process of drawing, but they fail to realize that digital can be drawn in much the same way that they're accustomed to in traditional, like I'm doing. I'm not using any tools. I'm still sticking to I'm using I'm just using the traditional method of drawing and painting. By the way, of course, you can understand I do traditional, but not as much as digital now. In fact, I rarely do anything unless someone asks me to do a nice painting for them, and I can always oblige. So we're gonna do this. Remember, we said we're gonna take that fingers that's somehow resting on that table. It's not really, to me, it's not adding anything. So I'm just gonna go black, black all the way. So at least I've got the foundation. And I also said I'm going to go around the table. You see, by doing this, you're improving your strokes. And then each time you'll see yourself improving. Oops. Let's go here. And then that, after I've done this, it will be the first pass that's been finished. This drawing. And then you can see what it looks like. There's the first pass we have done. So let's save that. All right. This is the first pass of the drawing, and we have the reference image. So much details it can throw you off, and you can say, well, my drawing is no good. You could stop here, actually. In reality, that's what people do. They come to this step, and then they give in. They say, that's it. What can I do? I don't see anything beyond this. Well, I'm sorry, but it's the same with, that's why there's so many different levels of skills. That's why people can take a skill far beyond others if they wanted to, and it's entirely up to you. If you don't want to, then it's fine. You should stop there, but don't complain or don't self-criticize and say you have no talent, because that's, you're misleading yourself. You had to stop there simply because you don't see anything beyond that. And if you don't see anything beyond that, that's not the fault of the actual hobby or craft. The craft can be taken as far as beyond anything, even now, today, beyond anything that we can see. But that's what art is. It can stretch our imaginations far beyond what we are able to see. So yeah, so this is my first pass. So I'm gonna get better and better, and I'm gonna obviously now, because I've done this first pass, and we've got a lot of pens and nice things under our control, we can ask ourselves, what are we going to do, and what needs to be done based on this first pass of the drawing I've done. And I can see lots of areas right away. I'm going to carry this to the, oh yeah, just getting rid of the whites, yeah. And then I can see I can improve the champagne glass or that glass area. And then I can go into a smaller brush size and work on the details. That's there is. If you think there is nothing beyond this, then you're quite mistaken, and I'm going to show you how. So now it's up to me which areas to address. Should I go for that glass, which is the focal point, as well as this person's feet, or should I work on the other areas? Really entirely up to you. And you know what I'm going to do, just to show you, I'm going to take this approach where I'm going to reduce the brush size. Look how big it is. Let's take it down to 8%. And you'll notice in the second pass how this drawing shapes out to be, okay? So I'm going to fill in areas that I haven't, like here. Work on the left side. I'm just going to work on the left side. So I'm still using the color picker to pick out that region of the colors of the reference color and just transferring it to my drawing. And while I'm doing that, it is, you may not believe it, but it is adding depth to that, because I am using the tones that gradually change in the original image. If you were to count all the tones, look, using a different color picker picks out the color which is within the scope of the reference image, and you'll see how the little bit of effort, how it changes. In reality, what we have to do is pick out these tones manually ourselves. But here we have the ability to pick out these tones that have been laid down by the background, the sea, and we don't have to worry about it. But what is it doing? It's helping us appreciate these tonal variations that's going on. And the smaller brush means it's actually getting better. It's actually picking out more tinier details. And when we zoom out, it looks like, it looks, pretty decent for, look how that deep blue color appears. And if you didn't, if you were drawing, you would not pick out these tones, but doing this kind of drawing helps you pick out these tones. So let's have a look. So that's an improvement on the left, right? But not quite there yet. So we're going to continue doing the right side since we're already working on that. Use your fingers, pick out the tone, pick color picker to pick that tone, and then just keep filling it. Color picker, and it will create that textured region. These tones basically create the textures you're looking for. There's no magic to art at all. You just continue doing the same thing until your tonal values become significantly improved and acute, becomes more acute. You know what the word acute means you are now much more aware of the tones that's required in a drawing. You don't battle yourself with trying to get exactly the same proportions. People are too worried about the proportions, the accuracy of the drawing. It's a total mistake. And when they see my photorealistic drawings, they say, wow, how much detail and proportions has he added? In truth, it's not. It's just simply doing this. Just simply doing this several passes of my brush. And just working on it, yeah? So let's go through the second pass of this. Look at the original. Look at all these tones happening around here, right? Our eyes will get fooled by the different tones. That's what adds volume to the tone. So that's why we pick. This is called block coloring, where we pick those regions and still maintain the same tones as what's being used in the background. I mean, in the reference image. You see, with a smaller brush, I've also tightened the blocked region, what I mean by that is with the smaller brush, I'm also working in a tighter area, giving more detail, automatically achieving more detail, and I'm zooming in a lot more, yeah? See, the tones we picked with the bigger brush is nowhere near the tones of the reference image because we stretched it in a broader area, right? And now we're simply keep applying this brush stroke, applying this tones. Don't worry about getting accuracy. I'm not too worried about that. And then pick that color. Okay, what have we got here? You can see here. It's a bit dark, yeah? That's a dark region. So we're following we're actually shaping, improving the shape of our drawing while we're doing this. So let's have a look at it now. That's another further improvement. It may not be obvious, but it will become obvious. And now we're at this step, we can say, well, yeah, we're in a good position to do the glass, right? And notice that as I zoomed into the glass, even the small brush size we picked is not sufficient to become aligned to the details of the brush. So that's not a problem because we're going to do another pass, right? And another pass will give us more control over the tinier details, including this glass. And I'm just want to fill in the areas that I missed with the smaller brush, which I couldn't have done with the bigger brush. And I'm not too worried about putting in too much details, just enough to get me to the next step. Still using the, just remember, I'm still using my finger. These colors are automatically being picked up by the color picker. That's the beauty of drawing, isn't it? And notice how the color picker works as well. Very important you understand that, but if you use it a few times, it will automatically become intuitive. You pick the color picker. Remember, the top half is the reference image. Pick the color picker, and then anywhere you press will assume the color of that image, of that. Like for example here, it's turned orange. We just picked up the color picker. So you assume that color, and then you can drag it, and you can continue painting on it. Assume that color. So that's why it really is quick. I assume that color, and with the smaller, you can see that I automatically need a smaller brush for that. But since I'm on this brush, and I'm working my way down to the details, which I haven't achieved yet, I will continue doing much as I could with this smaller size brush. So where are we? That's a little improvement there, can you see? Now we can go here. I can see right away this area needs addressing. So this is how we're able to replicate photorealism, because we are applying photorealism techniques, which means picking out the tones from the original reference image. And that's what photorealism is about, being able to draw very close to the original. Alright, so where are we now? So we've still got this bit, which I haven't done yet. Wow, look how big the brush is compared to the stem of this glass. But we can fix that when we, let's see where we are. No, let's go here. You see that? Now we've reached that step. We can see all the areas that we haven't covered. This is automatic. This is what beginners will not understand and can get too judgmental on what drawing is all about. They think you got to go from A to B. You don't go from A to B, you go from steps through A to B, and then you continue to keep developing. You can see areas that I need to address now. See how quickly we came to this area? There's a here I left behind, and then we can cover the white areas. Now these little white areas are now sticking out like sore thumb. I don't know if about you, I can see these areas, and I'm just going to cover it up. Yeah, because we have got to a point where we have made a relative drawing. All right, let's make that round. And I can come back and make it nice and round. Right, I'm just marking off. And we're always there. Look. So now what we can do is I think we can start on the champagne. So you saw the champagne, how this brush size 8% didn't quite work. So since I'm going to take it down even to 3.8 and make another pass exclusive to that champagne area, because I'm going to show you other ways of addressing the background to bring into focus and realism. When I say focus, I mean more realistic, because you can see right away there's a big margin here. Looking too blocky doesn't give the impression of photorealism. Yeah. So now let's see this brush size we've got. Look at that. Nice brush size. Keep it above the 100%, and then just work at it. And look, because I know the color variation changes, I'm also changing the brush size. Look, I'm also, remember we're at 100%. There are other ways. 100% meaning the brush is, look, density 100% hardness. And you may be wondering how the hell you use that. Well, I will show you on this technique, the technique you can apply to this drawing. I'll show you when we come to it. But for now, I just want to finish this. Look at that. We're so close to that. Then get these colors out, these deep orange colors, dark colors. Just get these out. And now I'm going back to a dabbing technique, which you may be familiar with. I'm now dabbing into it. Instead of doing cross lines, I'm now automatically, my senses tell me I'm just going to fill in using some dab techniques, meaning I'm just really dabbing with my paintbrush, just like in the traditional. Nothing different. You're still using my fingers. Just filling the areas, no drawing experience required. See that stem we had difficulty in trying to replicate because we had too much of a larger brush size. Well, now we have more manageable. Take it down. So notice I'm not applying dab dab technique. What's the point, right? It's almost like painting in traditional, isn't it? You can't tell, isn't it? I'm not applying any tools. Have I gone to any other tools except my fingers? Most people who jump to the never drawn before, so you can understand why they would resort to tools because they don't know any better really, and then they keep advocating that this tools are the next thing since sliced bread, and it's not. Tools don't make you a good artist, right? Let's see what this looks like now. Look at that, it's becoming so much better. You would not think that you'd reach that level if you'd given up on the step one of the draft pass, right? So much better. Now it's telling us, well, we can round off this drawing by making it more cleaner and making it really pop out. Because look, the rough edges now. Now what I'm seeing is rough edges around here. Look, rough edges, and look at that, smooth. Straight edges are now becoming more prominent. These are prominent. So we could tackle that, right? Since we have got a small brush and we have much better control. So let's keep at it, yeah? Using our fingers. Let's get these out the way. Using the curvature of our fingers. And then here you can see I'm going to use a dab dab action to show reflected light on this probably cushion or something. And then here, go here. Okay, just keep applying this size brush to clean those edges. Look at that. Oops. Don't go too close to the edge that you just made the mark. And then okay, what's happening here? It's a bit white. Interesting, isn't it? It's white. All right. And let's see how that looks. Better, isn't it? And now you can see, because of doing that, we can now see areas that needs to be addressed. Since we're still on that same brush, let's go finish that area that needs to be addressed, which we couldn't do because we were using that's the beauty of that color picker. Is amazing what you can do. Just clean these areas here. Add a few. Let's see what happens. Very good improvement. And we can now see that I need to round off this table. It looks, I just want to round it off. That's where your drawing skills come in, how well you control that stroke, right? That's all it is. Keep doing it until you get better. Don't be frustrated. Just keep doing it until, just work your way around it. Use the curvature of your fingers and go on the black if you have to, and then do. Oops. Okay, and then black. Let's see if we've got something reasonably right. Let's see, I think we've probably got it right here. Better, isn't it? Yeah. So now let's, I'm seeing, okay, I'm moving my eyes towards the other direction, and I'm thinking, okay, here, this toe looks like it needs clipping, doesn't it? So let's look at this toe, and let's look at our drawing, and just work your magic on keeping this brush size you have, and still, not changing the tools. Notice I've hardly accessed the tools department, have I? And you need to do more of the drawing rather than working with tools. You go to any online digital, what do you see? You need this tool, that tool, this tool, and soon keeping track of tools you need to use. Good luck. Remember we said we were going to make this guy's foot a little longer, this thicker maybe. So let's see where we are. Yes, getting better, but still needs a little bit more flesh, I think, this guy. Okay. On that toe, right? So add that, and see that? That is where we need to make sure we do the same. Okay. Hopefully we've got a bit more. Wow, that looks like, remember saying that this bit here, that looks like we can shape it so we know that this is coming here and he's being stretched, the toes, right? And then here come here, just keep at it, right? Don't, and then we can make that rounded. And if it's not round, go to the next adjacent screen here and then just round it like how it should be. That's an improvement, isn't it? I think it's definitely an improvement. And this one, I'm thinking I should use some of this tab and just tab area around it. Get the illusion of more depth to that area. And I think He's probably splashed some wine there, perhaps. And remember, and can you see now? Now you're beginning to see why the stages of drawing are so vital. You cannot go to those stages if you don't do the previous stage. It's all done with fingers. Finger drawing is so nice, you know. So now you're thinking, well, what would be the next step? Since we have got a limited time, I'm going to show you the blending. So now you see this area. So now you see this area. These Now the only thing you can see is that some blending is required. What is blending? Think about it for a while. Blending is having two different tones, two different colors, and somehow gradually blending it in the direction of the other color, depending on which color you start. So here, we're going to try and blend this, and this is where you can get really quite clever with this, is that we're going to take that down. Now we're going to use this tool, take it a little bit higher, brush size, and watch me what happens. See that? This is a form of blending, isn't it? I've somehow created the blending region, and I can keep doing that. I'm just going to show you quickly how I'm doing this, taking that harsh region, lowering the tone. Okay. And then you'll see the kind of difference it can make. And then as we do it, we have much more control. Tools are not controlling where I want to go. I am controlling pick the color tone. Remember, we haven't got the same color. So pick the color tone. Look at this one. I'm going to blend it. See how easy blending is. Can you imagine doing that with tools? Every little blending, and they're not going to create these microscopic regions with tools, because then it's going to look animated, isn't it? Their artwork will look animated, and they'll have spent way more time if you do it by using tools. It's so much better, isn't it? Look at that. Look how splendid. It's blended splendidly. I like that word. I'm going to say it to my daughter. Look, it's coming out slowly. And then I can see I've blended that. And I'm going to blend. So always check the reference image. And I'm going to blend this. These dark areas are really harsh. And then blend it. Okay. Let's increase it a bit. Oops. Done. So you'll see how it works. And then you encroach the same blue color in another area. It looks more natural, like a natural transition. And remember, you can also pick the adjacent color as well, this lighter color, and then work into the darker color. Yeah, anything's possible. So we've got more of that region. And then red we picked, it's now disappearing. So if you're not achieving the blending quick enough, just increase the density a little bit more, quicker, so you don't spend all day. The trick to drawing and to enjoy a drawing journey, in my opinion, is to draw fast. Don't spend too long particular painting because you're going to lose out on developing techniques. Right, this is quite blended nicely. And now let's do the table. Let's get a bigger brush. Pick that, or pick this area and then just blend it in, the lighter area. Right. So it looks part of the furniture. And look at this one here. Gonna blend it in that, yeah. And this darker area, blend it in as well. That's what it looks like. Oh, much better, isn't it? Now we can, now it seems like that we've got the region around the whole composition right, and I can see areas that we need to blend here. So I'm going to take this 8% and then play with this a little bit to get the right, and then take this color and I'm going to stretch it and just playing with it. This is the beauty of drawing, is that if you don't play with it and you expect something to be done for you, then what are you learning? You're not really learning anything, are you? You have to experiment and find it out yourself. People think it just comes, it's a given thing. It's not. It's not a given thing. You got to learn. The reason why they separate themselves from the rest of the crowd is because they do this. Look, okay. So let's see what that looks like, and then let's just go here and just finish off that. It's coming out all together. Now I can see that this area, you see, the blending is saying, oh, you've got to blend me. You know? Finger job, that's all it is. Nice finger work. Don't be afraid to use another color for blending as well, because it's part of nature. See, I'm not going just doing, oh, I need to blend with this color. I'm using the same color, transitioning it to the next region, and it seems to be working quite well. If it works well, why not? Right? What have we got to lose? We've got a lot to gain, nothing to lose. Again, but I'm going to try and take some of the harshness out of that. Just, you know, I'm even putting it here. Some of that harshness, not a lot, but and we can see what it looks like. Much better, isn't it? And now this is sticking out like a sore thumb. So here in one direction, right, one direction, and then what I'm planning to do is take some of that beautiful lighter color, stretch it out so it says, okay, you think you're fighting with me? Well, you know, I can take you back as well. You don't have control of the board here. All right, so here you can see, now you can see here how easy that is, right? And this blending is giving the sense that it is at a far distance, it's not so near. All right, let's see what that looks like. Oh, it's a big improvement, isn't it? And now I think You can go on and on with this. And I think if I'm just going to go up a bit, and I got this light blue color here. Here, I'm going to stretch it to that. No, too much. Too much. So I'm going to take it down and stretch that blue. They can hardly see it. As though, right, this shade. Look at that. Let's see what it would look like. Yeah, and then if you feel that you still need to work on that, just keep going over and over, and then take it out. Take that harshness out. Harshness. What I mean by harshness is that it looks like it is too blocky, choppy. Yeah. So now all I think I'm going to do, I'm going to blend this region here. Take it down. I think I need some blending work here. So pick that color brush. That's too light, so I'm going to take it up. I went really far down, and take it up. Then take it up again a bit more. It needs a lot more. All right. All right. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, that's better, isn't it? I don't think I need to do too much on the foot, but what I can do is I feel like that brown is going too much, so I'm gonna take it really up. That brown is encroaching on that seat, and it shouldn't do really. And then just take the brown and just stretch it. It's almost like a reflected brown through the sun, right into that region, and then you can see that will work well, although it's not obvious to see it. But now let's finish this champagne, the focal point. Let's take the brush down a lot, 1%. Keep it at that. Go back to 100%, and then see where we're missing. Wow, look at that. This is look at that. Ooh, look at that line brush, line size. Okay, so what I'm thinking is I'm going to go to the line brush for that because it's so fine. Let's go to the line brush, and then let's take it down to 70%, and let's see what we have. Ooh, that's really powerful. We need to go down even more, and then take it down, and then select this particular perimeter, this one, and then see what we have here. Maybe take it up, and now let's formulate this region. Just follow the curvature of that and see what it looks like. So I think what we need to do is we need to work on that lighter blue and go around, right? Go around. And the same thing, pick that blue, because that's the mouthpiece. And you need that to be as clear as possible. So this is what I'm doing. I'm applying different techniques to different parts of the drawing that I'm doing. And now here, Let's see what we have. Getting there. So, but it's still dark. You need to go dark. This area here. I'm just talking about this part. Look how dark it is. Let's go. We want it dark, right? So we know that's the tip. Look at that. And look how dark it is. And you see the difference it makes. It's dark. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, better, isn't it? And then you can see now that our focus and attention is on this, we can carry on creating that curvature and then just do one gentle, not too much, and then just work your way around to this. Okay. I think I will go up a bit in density, opaqueness. So I want to go darker still. Okay, so what do we have here? Let's have a look. Yeah, you can see it's a very light color. So we can take that color, oops, that color we've just seen here, the one I picked from the color palette, and then just shave, make that nice, go all the way around, get rid of any blemishes. Every drawing is different, that's what makes it highly pleasurable. Let's see if we got it right. Better, isn't it? Now we can see that all the problems are coming out from that glass. Look at that. Yeah. So we can pick some colors here. Look at that. And then we can pick a dark color because we've selected it. Notice I'm using I'm more focused on my, look at that, look at this one here, right? Look at that, it should be black, the brown should be going stretched all the way to show that form. Right, and then look how it follows the curvature. Okay, right, and now we have these colors, which we can and then look at that, look at this color. So we pick that color there, look, it's showing the tip. And then we have this broad color to show this the base. It's got a base, a strong foundation. Let's take that line down. So we're still operating the line. Don't have to use the line. You're free to use other lines, but I'm just showing you with demonstration that the line, I just felt it was a bit better for me to use that. So I'm going back and forth, filling in. And look, did we get this right? I've seen that there's a definition of an edge. We can use that. Okay, let's see what we've done. Yes, look, the base is now coming out. We just got to work on the right part here. So now here, let's see. And then here. Take it down. Take it because I want to match the width of that, the shadow, the cast shadow, if I can. It's a cast shadow. Right, we can see what it looks like. Definitely too much cast shadow going on here. So I'm going to do what I do always. Take the adjacent colors, just blend, lovely blend. Take it up higher, blend. Lovely. Nothing difficult. And then if you see there's too much, again, just take it. Right. Okay, so let's work on the right here. What do we got here? It's very small brush. 1% maybe. And then use a color palette that we've already got. And let's pick this brown color. And we have it. Now you can see. Color palette. All right. I think we're all right. Let's put some definition on the right. Although I think it makes sense that we just don't put too much in it. Just remnants. And there's that pink. I'll just put that. And then here we can use the black, stretch it, and then we can go here, get that purple color, nice. What have we got here? Can finish that. Finish this color, the stretches to the edge, just cleaning the edges, you know. We don't want to spend too much time, just drag the edges. And then let's see what we've got. Okay, I can see that deep brown color. Let's take that. Yes, it's done that. Okay. And let's grab the stem and see if we need to refine it. We can if you want to. I think we got more or less everything right. There's that blue streak that's coming down here. Oops, go down. Okay. Right, I think we can call it done, yeah. Don't know about you. You could improve on it as well, of course. There's like this bit, remember? This area, look, we haven't done this really to show the, and then take that down. Don't be afraid that how I'm doing this, because remember, I've got experience and you may not be as accurate as me. So I'm going to go darker even. Darker. And then take that up. See how I'm using the density now. And then here, look at that dark, right? So make that dark. Why not? That's what reality's already done. What needs to be drawn. All you need to do is transfer that to your drawing. Okay. It's very black here. And you can spend a lot more time than I'm doing, but I want to just show you this as a demo so you can see when you want to create your own drawing, you can. And now you see these little bits and pieces now come out like a sore thumb, like these white regions, right? And then you have this region, which is like a beautiful different color altogether, but let's just add it anyway. And now we got this shape, this dark shape, this, like, it's almost like, let's take it up a notch. It's like that's like the form of the glass. So it's the wrong direction. That's it. Okay. And then a bit of pink. So you can see, you can make this as a drawing exercise in there, the white. Look at that there. And then along with that white is that dark ribboning color around that. Oops. But look how far I'm going down. Oops. So I'm just trying to replicate what I'm seeing. How much work you can do on this, right? You could go on and on trying to create that. Gives it shape, isn't it, to the glass? Just gives it like a form foundation. And look, now I can see, okay, this at this stage where I'm beginning to see what? There's not going to be a flat liquid there, is it? There's, look, clearly some white's going on here. And just do that. Night. And then there's a darker region which you just use it and take it down. Oops, look how powerful that is. That is, so I can take the density down to reduce that tone. Yeah? Until you're happy. Added a little bit of effect on that glass. That's it. Well, I think, even add a little bit darker, I think. I just want it a tad bit darker. Have you seen that? Since we're at that, I feel like I need to add that darkness. So let's take it up. Almost done. Now it's looking like you can see where the lip of the glass is, perhaps. And even if you wanted to, go over it again, darken it. Okay. So there you are. So we're gonna put the Paintology on it to show. Paintology using your fingers for this drawing. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this session, and I'll bring you another session, and please write your comments so I can get feedback. Without comments, I'm just going down my path without any feedback, so I would appreciate any comments, and constructive would be better than just a dislike. And if you dislike something, you should be specific why you dislike something. Otherwise it doesn't make sense, is it? Where would the improvements come from? I need to know where you think areas could be improved. So this is the drawing that I've done with Paintology app, using the finger and showing you the block coloring method, and also blending and other areas, including I've taken away some distracting areas and just make this. Yeah. So thank you for watching, and hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.